That one.
3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, Latinas Exitosas. One more time, we are here live. We don't have the banner because it was kind of windy. My name is Verónica Xolalpa-Hinds, and today I am with somebody that I'm so excited to interview because, oh God, Paul Sanchez. Who is Paul Sanchez? Guys, this is the first interview we're doing in English. I know people sometimes think I'm a bad person when I say the word they say about me, because I encourage our Latinos to speak English. I'm sorry, that's the way I am. I'm not gonna stop it. And I asked Paul, would you like me to do it in Spanish because he's a Latino, okay? And then he said, let's do it in English. So tell me who's Paul Sanchez.
No, look, I wish I could fluently speak in Spanish.
Okay.
I do. I understand it.
Okay.
But when it comes to conversational Spanish, it's a mess. It's a disaster. It wouldn't even be a good interview. I don't even like listening to myself speak Spanish. But no, I'm Paul Sanchez. I'm a South Salt Lake City Council member, and I was born in Utah. I was actually born in Provo. My parents came here for the LDS church to be closer to the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And I was raised in Rose Park. I went to West High, and I came out when I was 19 years old.
Okay, you guys get that? I mean, let's get this. You came out when you were 19. People probably don't get that. Latinos, put attention on this. When I met this gentleman, he was a Democrat, right? He was representing.
What was that, 2 months ago?
2 months ago. When I started talking to him, and he mentioned right now when I came out. Well, when I talked to him, I didn't know he was. First of all, I didn't know even you were in the politics. I just started talking to you because I see, wow, I like the way he is. We just walk, and then we start talking out of nowhere. You asked me if I was a lawyer, then I said no. Then we click. Somehow, when he was talking to me, I never realized that he actually wasn't straight. Okay, and you know I'm very straightforward when I talk to people, but I don't care either because, as you know, my brother came out when actually I made him come out.
You made it.
Yeah, because I knew since he was a kid, and I always empower him. I said, hey, I'm your older sister, and I love you, and that love is not gonna change. Whoever you want to be in life, I don't care who you like, just I'm gonna ask you for one thing: be honest with yourself. Love yourself the way I love you. And then he was like, no, but I'm not. I said, you are. Sooner or later, he was probably, when I talked to him the first time, he was probably like, we'll say 16. Later on, now he's married and happy. But I never had that issue. Coming from a Catholic, LDS here obviously is very empowered. I'm assuming for you was really hard. For us, back in California, back in Mexico, still, people beat them still in Mexico. If you just say you are coming out of Mexico. So imagine bringing my brother here to this country, for me was a bless. Not just because he was whoever he want to be, because I don't care. I don't put titles. It's because he can be whoever he wants to be, because this country gives us the power to be wherever we want. So now, it's the differences because born in somewhere else that you born in Utah. LDS community, being, I would say, minority. How was it for you?
You know, it's hard for me to say. For sure, I think it's a blessing. I think it has allowed me to be more empathetic to other people of color, to the trans community, to I call them marginalized communities, right? And being a Latino, you're marginalized. You're a small percentage of the population here in Utah. The majority of people here in Utah are white. The majority of your representatives are white. And oftentimes, I didn't know if I was being treated a certain way because of my sexual orientation or because of the color of my skin. And I would say, as an elected official, there's expectations of me, because I'm gay and because I'm Latino, that I should automatically be a Democrat, right? I'm in that bucket.
Okay.
Okay. but I'm also Methodist.
Yeah.
Okay, and I do believe in God, and I have a hard time participating with a party who doesn't believe in God, because for me that's what holds me together. That's what gives me purpose in life, is that belief. That belief doesn't exist in the Democratic Party, and that's hard for me. That's hard for me. And so, that being said, Biden is a Catholic. Maybe he's Catholic light. I don't know.
I'm like, no comments.
So yeah, it is. When I became an elected official, I believe that social issues, as a person voting, social issues were always important. But as an elected official, my shift is, yes, social issues are still important, right? I still believe that we have a lot of work to do to support people of color and to support the LGBTQIA+ community. But what's most important is how we spend our money.
Oh, yeah. Now we're touching the business, guys.
Is how we spend our money. And so for me, being fiscally conservative and being responsible and accountable and transparent for how that money is used doesn't really align myself well with the Democratic Party.
That's what we announced that we are now.
We're now Republican.
We're not
We're
Republican.
now Republican.
Now, that thing a lot of people assume. Okay, I'm not gonna be in one side or that side, because sometimes even me being Latina, when I say I'm a Republican, people think that I'm against my people. No, I'm not against my people. That's one. I just believe in I grew up Catholic, and I respect everybody. I never say you're LDS, you're this or that. It's just on my beliefs. I grew up from a really Catholic family, so I do respect the life of others. I do respect the freedom of speech, obviously, but being Catholic, we don't believe in certain things that an abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I lay down more with the Republicans.
Yeah.
Being a businesswoman, I love business. I want to empower other Latinos to do it. Now, one thing before I keep going. I'm married to a white guy, and I love him. I know because, listen, not because these things says, well, I'm against whites. No, I believe that is certain people there that is not about the color, which is in that probably we have difference. No, I'm not about the color. It's about who you want to be, what the change you want to make in others' lives. However, I'm proud to be brown. Yeah. But if I were white, I would fight again for the Latinos' rights. Why? Because somehow in my life, I believe I can make a change. And I believe that I'm not a victim of the system. Yes, it is a lot of people they force us to be victims. Yes, it is. Yes, it exists. But I make that choice to change that thing. Now, Paul Sanchez, what are you gonna do for us to change that thing?
Well, I think what you talked about is very interesting as far as representing the Latino community, because we're not just brown.
Exactly.
We're white, we're black, right? We're all colors.
Okay.
Right? And I'm married to a Mexican.
Okay.
Right, but he looks white. And so
True,
people,
yeah, I thought he was white.
Yeah, people assume that he's white, but no, he identifies as a Mexican. And that's great, because it's allowed me to better embrace my culture.
I love it.
Because here in Utah, I was raised to believe that my culture wasn't valid. It wasn't acceptable, right? It was, it is what it is, right? I'm trying to let go of the past.
But we're gonna change the future, the present. So, Paul Sanchez, I know you're happily married, which is, I was like, yes, you guys know that I'm always empowered to be together with the person that you love.
And by the way, the first legal gay wedding for the Methodist Church in the whole world.
Excuse me, we're breaking. We're actually making a change. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my brother got married. I just haven't asked him. I know we celebrate and they were there. I'm not sure if it's just for, I would say, for the cycle. I'm not sure. But I didn't see a priest or nothing. I'm gonna ask him that. I'm gonna hold that. So you actually are the first one.
Well, the
hearing you.
the church worldwide has been fighting over this issue for a long time. And recently they had a general conference that allowed each region in the United States to determine whether or not they were going to allow gay marriage legally. Now, there's been marriages inside the Methodist Church by pastors, but it wasn't legal.
Okay. Certain states are, right?
It wasn't even about the state.
Okay.
Right now, the whole country, you can get married if you're gay, you can get married legally. But within the Methodist Church, they were holding weddings with priests or pastors, but it wasn't legal within the church itself.
That's the thing I didn't know. I was kind of confused a little bit. You have a question?
No, yeah.
What
I
we
was
have
wondering
Johan today? So
yeah,
I don't
because
know.
just a quick question so that everybody can understand. Just as an example, me when you're saying Methodist Church,
I was gonna ask him that question too.
so, yeah, what branch would that be, or what? Can you please elaborate a little bit?
I don't think Latinos we know too much about Methodist.
So Methodist is a Protestant, right? Who separated from the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's the terminology. Okay.
It's Protestant churches. And Methodism actually was created to help better understand and interpret the Bible.
Okay.
And it was created in England. So somebody from the Church of England, the Catholics too, right? And this person helped identify how to come to terms with what is in the Bible, to better understand it. And in this country, it became a church. It wasn't intended to be a church. It was intended to be a way of connecting to God, to better understand how to connect to God through your own understanding. And it transformed into a church. Actually, Joseph Smith was considering becoming a Methodist before he started the LDS Church. It was his number one choice.
And then,
Look
at them now.
I see now.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying.
Because a lot of us, being Latinos, we don't know too much about that stuff. It is crazy because I think we have a lot of things to learn. I consider myself, when it comes to religion, very ignorant, I would say, because I don't know too much. That's why I prefer to ask questions. We talk about something else, I would love to, but when it comes to religion, because I've been born really like hardcore Catholic, my husband is Catholic. It doesn't mean that all the religions are better or less. I just respect whatever my grandparents are still doing, 95 years old, they still together. They love each other. They met when they were like, what, 16?
Whoa.
So to me,
That's
it's
beautiful.
a sample to follow. Now, it doesn't mean in Methodists there are people that are actually been that for that long. I just believe that if you take and respect the beauty of each individual or each beliefs of anyone, we can actually
live better in harmony, right? And I think there's, even to today, it's, well, my belief is this, and so I'm going to pass laws and support laws that validate my belief system.
Probably restrict others.
Right. And at the same time, you're restricting other people.
Exactly.
And you know what? We all work. We all pay taxes. We all have the right to have our own belief system. And I feel like we end up using our political system in a way to hinder other people's point of view. Constantly, right? We're still fighting about it right now. I think one of the biggest fights we're having is the issue regarding, one side calls it supporting trans rights, and the other side says supporting women, right? And they're both valid arguments.
Totally.
But if we get united and we actually support each other and respect each other, I think that things will be different. So, talking about somebody that's going to represent us, what we expect from you? What is it? I mean, the shoes that Paul Sanchez is trying to change in life.
Well, for me, ultimately, I want to see more people of color become elected officials, right? And we do have an opportunity to see more Latinos in office. They just have to be willing to participate in the process. They have to be willing to vote. The real issue is that Latinos are not voting, and I don't blame them. Right? You don't see Latino candidates. You don't see these candidates supporting Latino issues, whatever they may be. Right? I'm sure the Latino community, the Hispanic community, doesn't feel like anybody has their back, or is talking to them, or is supporting their businesses in any manner, way, shape, or form. Right? And so the outcome is not participating in politics and not getting involved, not volunteering, not supporting candidates financially. Right? I think the change is going to happen in the state is when Latinos realize their power.
You got the power, guys.
You got the power. And what I see for my community is that if they were to support candidates, it's going to be Republican candidates. It's going to be people that support families, right? That support traditional values.
I have a question about that because it's gonna, people is probably gonna be like, okay, you're Republicans right now, all these Republican. How that fits with being what the Republicans always expect from, like, I know the church was always, don't support LGBT, don't support this, that. How are we gonna switch that mentality and being a Republican, you're representing, you're happily married, obviously, you are not a Christian in a way. You're not really born like, hey, it has to be this way.
Not traditional Christian.
Not traditional Christian.
But I am Christian.
Well, not traditional Christian, yeah. Not traditional Christian.
Yeah.
How we gonna fit in that part? I know people's gonna have a lot of questions because they're probably gonna interview in the future, like, well, how you can be a Republican, but you're not the traditional way.
Well, the thing is, I represent constituents within South Salt Lake, right? It's the most diverse, ethnically speaking, the most diverse city in the state, by far, the most diverse city, the highest population of people of color. And with that, you have all kinds of religions. It is literally a melting pot of religions, right, and belief systems. And so, for me, knowing that there are atheists, knowing that there are traditional Catholics, knowing that there are non-traditional Christians, right? Knowing that there are a lot of LDS people in my city, I can't take this point of view that's you're either LGBT or you're not, you're with us or you're not with us, right? And I think it's this division that causes problems. Yeah. And why do we keep feeding this division?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
And I don't understand it either. You don't have to believe in LGBT rights. Meaning, you don't have to be LGBT or T, okay, right? But you can't determine that for your child. And you can't determine that for someone that doesn't live in your home. You can't determine that for anybody but yourself. And until, I believe that in the next 5 or 10 years, this is not going to be an issue anymore. The majority of people in this country support equal rights for everybody. Now, it might not be true in Utah, but things are changing in Utah. And I may be on the minority right now, but I'm just getting started in politics. I'm just getting started. So we'll keep talking about this in 4 years. We'll talk about it in 8 years. We'll talk about it and see what kind of progress we made in 12 years. But from what I'm seeing is that younger generation is tired of this conversation because we're not fixing the problems that we really have. We're not fixing the problems of not being able to buy a home, right? That is, people aren't able to afford the place that they live now. Their incomes aren't going up based on how much apartment complexes cost, how much housing costs.
And it's crazy because, sorry to interrupt you, but I came back and forth to teach about, my business 7 years ago. It wasn't like that. Like, literally, I used to live in California, and I thought it was okay. They say it's expensive, but now coming here, I'm like, wow, you guys, we're falling that. Actually, yeah.
We're failing.
I was like, what? What happened in 7 years? How these things change so fast. Now, I want to know how Paul Sanchez looked himself in 5 years.
Well, in 5 years. what I'm gonna look like in 5 years.
What is your expectations? How you see yourself that you can accomplish? What is your dream? I know you're changing lives.
Goals.
I know for sure your goals. But how you see yourself that you say, you know, this is what I'm bringing to the table, and this is how it's gonna be.
Well, for me, the biggest impact, you know, people really concern themselves over the presidential election. They really do. But the biggest impact that we're going to have in our communities is actually our cities, right? It's going to be our city councils, and it's going to be our mayors. And so 5 years from now, I expect that I'll be a mayor for South Salt Lake. That is my goal. And as mayor of South Salt Lake, I'm going to have the ability to be more impactful in supporting Latino candidates in Salt Lake County and in Utah County and in Davis County, right? We have an opportunity to change the landscape in the Wasatch Front. We just need more elected officials to support that change.
And as a Latinos, you know, vote and follow. Just it doesn't work just like, oh, I follow you. No. You actually get involved. You know, get involved, learn more about our representatives, especially when they are supporting us. I always believe that we can be one in the USA. USA is the best country in the world, and we can make the difference. We can respect each other. It's a freedom of speech. Come on, guys. It's the best country of the world. Why wouldn't just get united, you know, and start thinking about we can make it that difference? So I'm gonna hold a counting poll because in 5 years.
Hey, look! I'm already putting my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
Sarah Dawn Montes is running for House District 32, and she represents South Salt Lake, and she represents part of Millbury. And it's an opportunity to have a Latina represent us in the state.
In the state. Yep. Yep,
And
guys,
so,
wake up.
And so, if you want to support, we have a barbecue on Saturday at Harmony Park
Okay.
Awesome.
in South Salt Lake from 2 to 5.
I'm back with the address.
Harmony Park is about 3900 South and Main Street,
Okay.
approximately. Okay, you have an opportunity to support a Latina candidate
This Saturday.
this Saturday.
Okay.
Come down. It's a free barbecue. Show up. There's other GOP candidates that are coming down. We have a really great candidate for Salt Lake County Council who has a vision for the county.
Okay.
Right? He's not Latino, but he's the only one. He's not the only one that has a vision. They all have visions, but he has a vision that I can support. His name's Mike Carey.
Mike Carey.
We have 2 people running for Attorney General coming down. Rachel Terry,
We're gonna go right.
Frank Mylar,
course.
and more than likely one of those 2 is going to be our next Attorney General. Right? Sean Reyes is gone. It's been great. Thanks, Sean.
I thought we were not going to talk about politics, and we had to talk about politics.
It's difficult. It's difficult because as we were talking before we started recording, politics affects our lives, you know. So we gotta get involved. And I'm loving that you are. I don't identify with any of the 2 parties. I feel like I will probably die independent. But I love that. I love your initiative. I love that you're the second Republican candidate that I meet this year. The other one is also Latino, and the other one is also trying to, to push that voice out that we can make a change, we can make a difference. We can. He was comparing the U.S. to Venezuela because he's from there. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, Carlos Moreno.
Carlos Moreno,
Yeah.
you know him, yeah. And something that he was telling was that in Venezuela, politicians are untouchable, unreachable. They're like God level. You cannot reach them. There's no way. But he was explaining in a podcast that I was with him, with a friend, that there are ways here that we can actually reach out people that are in power, mayors and councillors and those kind of representatives that can actually make a change if we actually, make our voices be heard.
Heard before they get elected, right?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If you help them, if you put your time and volunteering for them to get elected, they have a higher likelihood of getting elected.
Of course, absolutely.
And then once they're in office, guess what? They're going to take your call. They're going to take your email. they're gonna hear you when you have something to say.
Exactly.
But you know,
That's why I wanna hear you accountable, because I see you in 5 years. I support you. Once, guys, I met this gentleman out of nowhere. We just walking by and we stop and we start talking. That's how we start in each other. So I do know a lot of people outside. He didn't introduce himself. Oh, I'm a politician. Oh, my Xolalpa. Nothing. He would just say, hey, I'm Paul. Hey, what's up, I'm Verónica. When I start asking, I don't even know he was actually gay. I don't care. But I start talking to him for 2 hours. Then I say I have to go because my kid is by himself, right?
Yeah.
So I do support him 100%. I don't think it's just some type of connection, energy that you believe that someone is really gonna make the change and is that for the change. And I don't try to discriminate nobody else. It's just I have the lucky or be blessed to cross your path. And I know that day that I asked you for an interview, it wasn't really talking about politics. I want to know who was Paul. I want to know who's that human being that is great, that is not going to the streets making a difference in colors. When I stopped talking to you, I said my husband is actually white. We were just talking about stuff. I didn't know. Then one thing to another, you just got my heart. And I said, I want to know more about Paul. Yes, he represents everything that we always wish for, or most of the stuff that I wish for. Because I believe we can be united, and everybody knows this sounds crazy. I believe we can be united. So Paul, I'm not gonna let you go. In 5 years, I know we're gonna see paths, cross paths, and we're gonna see you in carnes asadas and this and that. But I really wanna know that you're there, that you're not just gonna give up because we have 1, 2, 3, or maybe 3 years hard. I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't wanna see you thinking, well, I'm gonna support another one because I'm out. No, I don't want to say bad. No, I want to say Paul. I want to hold you accountable, that you can represent us, and that I believe that you can make the difference. And I'm talking about the Latinos. They don't speak English. When they speak English, you're gonna know what's up. So let's leave in the side a little bit of politics because I believe in you. You know, as a human being, I know you got that. Tell me, how is Paul now that he's married? How is Paul now that he knows that he can have everything in life? Because now you know you can have everything in life, right? You can develop your life. How is Paul in that life? How is, besides politics, how is that Paul with that big heart? I want to know.
I don't assume that I'm gonna have everything in life. I don't assume that. Put in the work.
Okay.
Put in the work. I put in the work with my relationships, with people that I love, with my dogs, with my plants.
Oh,
I have like 200 plants inside of me.
Okay.
Okay. And I love to be involved with my community. And I find myself that there's a lot of things that need to change constantly, all the time. And right now, I'm battling criminal trespass for going to a city council meeting. So I'm still processing that, and I have come to terms with the outcome. If I am found guilty, then I'm guilty, and I'll serve whatever time and whatever fine penalty. But at the end of the day, I felt like my rights were violated, not just as a citizen, but as an elected official, to show up to council meetings, regardless of what I say on my social media, right? And so I am working to protect First Amendment rights. Not only that, due process.
Oh wait, are you being hunted down because of something that you posted on social media?
Yes.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
You don't see the interview? Just check it out. Well, he has a video when they literally handcuffed him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I took it down. It's
You
not
took
there.
down?
I took it down, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to a jury trial,
Okay.
and I believe that, and it's going to be 4 people. I believe that those 4 people are gonna say that I'm not guilty. That But
But
the fact is that the city is able to arrest me, force me to find an attorney at my own dollar, and then I have to deal with the ordeal of being arrested and possibly having a misdemeanor on my record.
which
Right.
is something that everyone should be very concerned.
Very concerned about.
Because, I mean,
But this is what the Democratic Party is doing all over the country.
that is something that people have been warning, and so many people have been discrediting, like, that's not gonna happen, or like, no, you're not gonna reach that level. And I've been seeing it, and it's really concerning. I'm so sorry that you have to go through that.
Yeah, and it does. It's unfortunate that it's happened, but it goes to show you that even our constitutional rights are under attack in our country because we're not paying attention. We don't care.
And it's completely
Let's go with the
unconstitutional. Like, unless you're fomenting, I don't know, like Nazi stuff.
Even then,
it would have to be something in
look,
another level.
even then, you have a constitutional right to say whatever you want on your social media.
Pretty.
Freedom of speech. You cannot make laws that go against that. There has not been one instance that I can find in our whole country where a city council member has been arrested for going to a city council meeting. Never has happened. And it happened this year in a presidential year when we have one of the candidates going to court, right? That's what Carlos is talking about. Because we're so opinionated in this country, on social media, you'll see that people take both sides and generally take the side of against the person who's being prosecuted, right? You're seeing what's happening to Donald Trump is ugly. It's
Yeah, they're
absolutely
not even
ugly.
looking at the human being, They're just so focused in whatever they want to see happening, or just about, I don't want to say maybe like having the rights over other ones, but that's kind of like how it feels.
Simply because they don't like his policies.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
don't like his beliefs.
But that's still a human being that he still has rights, American or not. It's a complete violation of the Constitution.
Yeah, it is. So, I'm personally probably not going to vote for Donald Trump because I don't believe that he has the same beliefs that I do. If it was between Donald